Hi, I'm Geoff Buys Cars, and this is the new Dacia Jogger. I'm going to drive it 200 miles today. I tell you what has really caused me to go and book this test drive. It's the arrival of the new Land Rover Defender. Because I keep driving past them, and you know, they're big and they've got 7 seats and whatnot. And I keep driving past them for sale at dealerships with signs in the window that say things like £110,000. And it got me thinking, why is a car £110,000 when you can go and buy something like a Dacia Jogger for like 16 grand? How can it be so much more expensive when they do the same thing? So, today is a multifaceted review of this car. And you might be thinking, oh, where's he going today? Is he going to go to the beach? Is he going to go surfing? Is he going to go drive up a mountain and go snowboarding? No. Today, my jogger is just joining me on stuff what I would normally be doing on my Wednesday in real life. So, it's very exciting. I've sold a set of alloy wheels, which I need to deliver to Nottingham. So we're going to drive up to Nottingham and go and deliver the alloy wheels. And then depending on what the time is, we may pop in on the garage that may or may not have broken my Volvo 850 TDI and see how they're doing. And then we're going to drive home, pick the kids up. The first leg of the journey, I'm just going to get to know the car. So I'm not going to film very much on my way up to Nottingham. I'm going to listen to a podcast and then I'll tell you all about it in a minute. I mean, I'll tell you about the car, not the podcast. I don't know if you're interested in aliens or not, but I'll just crack on.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, you can't think that you're the only thing out there, or we're the only thing out here.
Question is, right, what's John got that I haven't? Seriously. What has that £100,000 Land Rover Defender got that my Dacia Jogger hasn't got? So I've driven up to Nottingham and I've delivered some Volvo wheels for that V70, which was very lovely. And I would have done some more video and walked around the car a little bit, but the dogs were making that much noise that it just wasn't worth it. Shut up and go and lie down. Do I have to do that? Can I shut up and go and lie down?
If you need to.
Right, I'll get these wheels out for you. They did fit very nicely in the back of the jogger, and I didn't feel the extra weight. So new wheels going on your V70. It's going to look fantastic. Send me a picture when it's done.
I will do, yeah.
Brilliant. 104.5 miles from Worcestershire to Nottingham. And it has averaged in that time 51.5 miles to the gallon. That is more than acceptable. That's ridiculous. It's a little 1 litre turbo 3-cylinder petrol engine. And when he said, oh no, yours is the 1 litre, I thought, what? You're going to send me up to Nottingham in a 1 litre turbo petrol? It's been brilliant. Now, this is where my review differs slightly from Matt's from Carwow. Great video, Matt, by the way. I mean, you know, you're not quite at the level of Geoff Buys Cars, but keep it up and I'm sure more people will watch your videos. He said that he didn't like the engine when you got out on the motorway. Now, I think this probably says a lot about the kind of cars that I spend my time driving, because I thought the exact opposite. I got in this car, I got it on the motorway and I thought, bloody hell, this thing really shifts for a 1 litre. So I thought it was really funny when I watched his video and he was like, oh yeah, it's not really, it's a bit gutless. And I'm sat on the motorway being like, power! But I think that's because all the cars I drive are very old and have lost most of their horsepowers along the way. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the day, shall we? Let's get a coffee as well. Should we get a coffee? Let's get a little coffee. Wow, check that out. It's technology that is, isn't it? Whoa! Love it. Thank you. Happy days. Got myself a coffee on a little mechanism. I mean, whatever next? Brilliant. The world scares me, it really does. Anyway, speaking of technology that scares me, I really like the fact that I can keep the key in my pocket, and as I walk up to the car, it unlocks itself. It makes me feel a little bit like a cowboy, and I don't know why. It happened this morning, and I was like rocking out, and I walk up to the car, and it's like a John Wayne draw situation. I wonder if I could get up to the car so fast that it wouldn't unlock. It's like you're being a constant duel with your car. Like your car becomes your best mate.
Next left, then turn left at the roundabout.
Car, I'll come on to that in a minute. Your car becomes your best mate, and you always play this game when you're getting in and out of it.
50 yards.
I just turned the volume down
taking the first exit.
on the stalk that's on the steering wheel because I don't have a great big knob in front of me for my volume, and that's one of the things that I found about this car that I don't like. Shut up! I know where I'm going. So there is no volume for the stereo in the middle here. I've only got this large screen, and I can only do the volume on the screen, which is really annoying when you're driving. I do have a stalk on the steering wheel, but it's in a really awkward position, and it's on the right hand side, and everybody knows that your volume controls on your steering wheel should always be on the left. Sorry for shouting at you. You just interrupted me whilst I was doing a video. In a minute we'll play that game with the key. You like that one? Heatwave forecast, 11th to 14th of August. Plan your journey. I have planned my journey. I've spent an entire year building a car ready for a road trip during a heatwave. And it broke on Monday. And I had to buy a new one yesterday. How's that for planning your journey? We spent a year building a car, getting it ready for an epic road trip, only for it to break 4 days before we're supposed to be on the ferry. I love old cars.
Right, after half a mile.
I've at least changed it to an Australian lady because the interruptions were getting that annoying, and I haven't worked out how to turn the voice off. But it's an Australian lady. But I was thinking like slightly sexy surfer Australian lady, but actually it's like Australian newsreader.
300 yards, keep right, then cross the roundabout.
I guess I was
200 yards, keep right.
I was sort of expecting like female Ozzy Man. That'd be brilliant. Ozzy
After
Man.
180 yards, cross the roundabout, taking the second exit.
Oh, I'm fucking doing it, mate. Stop telling me to do it. I know where I'm going. I'm going straight over the roundabout because you told me to do it 3 times. What's the problem, mate? Keep interrupting my video. I think Ozzy Man should do sat-nav audio. Ozzy Man, if you're watching my video, what would Ozzy Man be watching Geoff buys cars? Ozzy Man and Matt Watson, 2 up-and-coming YouTubers. Yeah, I think you should do sat-nav voiceovers. I'd pay for that. 6-speed gearbox. Gearbox is maybe a little bit vague, but you know, like it's a Dacia Jogger. And I'm moaning about a vague gearbox. Look at the design of the switch gear. Look at the chrome around the buttons and everything. Like, it's so easy to forget that you're driving what is essentially a very cheap car. It's so nicely appointed in here. It's put together beautifully. It really is. The vents and everything, and the way they got the chrome on the vents, and the design of this material here is just quite lovely. Even like, this is a big chunk of plastic, but it's cut really nicely. Like, the design of that plastic there is designed to fool you into thinking that it's not just a big chunk of plastic. It is just a big chunk of plastic, but all the angles and everything make you forget that it's a big chunk of plastic. It's such a well thought out little car. If I was going to complain about the interior, the seats are a bit naff. But then again, that's me forgetting that I'm driving a cheap car. What I would do is I'd buy one in this exact specification for I think 17 grand, and then I'll spend 1,500 quid with a trimmer having tan leather put in it instead. God, imagine that. This glorious bronzy metallic paintwork with a tan leather interior. Dacia, if you want someone to come and work for you on interior design, right, I know someone who's available. It's Matt Watson and Ozzy Man. If they're not available, right, you can have Geoff buys cars. How has car design gone so wrong? Look at all the different lines that are going on that car. It's like a Playmobil car. It's a 17 grand car with a reversing camera. And that's impressive. Reversing camera, heated seats, and it beeps all the time. It's like, I know I'm a very good driver. Big-headed or what? It's like, I know I'm not that close to it. I can get closer. They should have tolerance settings on a reversing camera, shouldn't they? So you can set it to like expert mode. Right, I'll park it right here, back in front of the showroom. And let's go and have a chat with Mike about my Dacia. Well, his Dacia. I'd like it. Firstly, I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. It's a little 1 litre engine with it's a 3-cylinder with a turbo, and it's got plenty of oomph. That's one of the things that I found. You could probably hear me splashing around in the water here, which is a different way of doing YouTube videos. I don't think Matt from Carwow has done that before. But what a great looking car, especially in this colour. I think Dacia have done a great job of designing it. We've got black trim in just the right places. The roof bars look fantastic, and they can rotate to become crossbars as well. I just think it's a great looking thing, you know. What is it? Is it an SUV? Is it a wagon? Is it an estate car? Is a wagon an estate car? Is that the same thing? I don't think it is. I'm not quite sure what it is. But I like that Dacia have done something different with it. You know, the design of this vehicle is slightly odd. There's not much out there that is like this. And it's a 7-seater. And the rear windows open, which is brilliant. Opening rear windows in the back. So, inside the Jogger, it just did a thing that I think is very cool. It has remote open. So if I walk up to this car with the key in my pocket, it will open. And I was going to do a sort of challenge where I see if I could surprise the car by running up to it and see if it still opens. But I think I'd fall over. Like Ian did the other day from Cherish Vehicle Insurance Services when we had his Land Rover here. And he fell in the water and it was hilarious. So inside the car then, I'll show you. I'll splash over to it. Right, there you go. I was close enough and then it opened. Right, inside the car, we have my stuff from my day with the vehicle. So there's my shoes, there's my wallet, there's my Volvo keys. All right. I'm not too impressed with the seats, as I said in my video, but a very comfy car. I haven't moaned about it all day long. I really haven't. I've done 200 miles. I was able to get the seat exactly where I wanted it to be. There's somewhere for my arm to go on the window. It's perfect. I like the steering wheel nice and low. The steering wheel you can move in multiple different directions. And I love the finish on the door cards. It's really nicely put together. Again, the vent's really nicely designed with a nice little bit of chrome on the top as well. Good, elegant shape. Everything's put together. Everything looks like it is where it should be. Look at these dials here. Lovely. Like, this is a cheap car, but, you know, aluminium finish. It's all very sports car. If I was going to complain about something, I don't really like the infotainment screen. But obviously I was going to say that because I don't like touchscreen. I never have done. The base model only comes with a little clip that sort of flips up and you put your smartphone on it. I'll see if I can drop a video in. I prefer that. The sat-nav has been interrupting me incessantly all day long, but I don't like built-in sat-navs, I don't like touchscreens. I know that's the way modern cars are, but obviously this is Geoff Buys Cars, you know? You know I don't like that stuff. I don't like push-button start. I don't like that it has a remote key. But I like playing this game with it, where I walk away and it just nicely locks itself. There you go. Now I'm going to walk back to it. It's like it's my friend. Should we surprise it? Let's surprise it, see if we can surprise it by walking up and then it'll open. Ah! You can't beat the car. It's too fast at doing that. There's plenty of space in there. I won't go into details on it. There's other videos that tell you just how much space there is in the back of a Dacia Jogger. Nice door bins. Look at the size of that. That's a great place to leave, you know, balled up tissue paper and chewing gum and lollipop sticks, which will be brilliant. Manufacturers, car manufacturers, please stop putting big door bins in the back of cars because it's us that has to clean them out, okay? I'd rather the kids just pass their rubbish forwards. Trays on all models, even the basic one, absolutely brilliant. You need those. In the boot, there's not really much of a boot when you've got the rear seat conversion up, but this is a very cheap 7-seater. The rear seats do come out as well. You can just take them out completely. If I was going to complain about something as a dad, and I know what children are like, these feel quite delicate. So it's obviously made of fairly good quality metal, but I just wonder how long this mechanism is actually going to last. It's a very small little tab on that. I noticed that straight away. I was like, that's going to break. So that's one thing, but generally, very impressed with the Dacia. I think you have to have it in this colour. I think this is the best colour for it. Look at it just locking as I walk away. The light's on there. It's a very nice piece of branding. It's all done very well. It's a rather lovely little thing, actually. These start from about 15 grand. In this spec, it's about 17.5 grand. And that's a whole heap of car for the money. It really is. I honestly thought that 1 litre engine would be gutless. Shall I risk going down this side of the stream? I thought I was going to hate it on the motorway, but I really didn't. And maybe that says a lot about the kind of cars that I drive most of the time. But a very nicely put together car that is elegant without being over designed. And I think that's my beef with most modern vehicles. I do find that they are all over designed. Oh, it's muddy here. Ow. You know, modern cars do tend to be, there's too much going on with modern vehicles. And I like that this is sort of basic for a modern car. So if you're looking for a car that isn't too over the top, then this is your car. All modern cars, in my personal opinion, are basically the same. There's not a huge amount of difference between them. So why go and spend more money on something that's overly complex when you could have the all-new Dacia Jogger? Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Would I buy it? Yeah, I would actually. And I never said that before about a modern car. Would I keep it? Yes. And most importantly, I would quite happily have carried on driving this car all the way to Cornwall today. Very easy car to spend time in. Very few complaints from me. All of my complaints, in fact, are directed mostly at the sat-nav. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot to say about the Jogger. That's my review.